The stars of the Narian system shimmered like silver dust scattered across an ocean of black. Aboard the human research vessel Solace, Captain Ethan Ward watched them through the viewing deck. It had been 3 months since humanity first made contact with the Varelians, a race of elegant luminous aliens who spoke in harmonic tones and lived on the ocean. World of Tiavara. Humanity had entered this corner of space seeking knowledge, not war. But trust between the two species was fragile. A single misunderstanding could destroy the peace treaty being built. Ethan was chosen as the lead envoy. Because of his patience and calm mind, he wasn't a soldier. He was a scientist and explorer. And yet, he now found himself walking into what might be the most delicate diplomatic meeting in human history. The meeting chamber on Terre. Vara glowed with blue bioluminescent light. Water flowed under glass floors, and vines grew across the walls like living art. At the center stood a Varelian envoy named Alira Tall, graceful and radiant. Her skin shimmered faintly like sunlight reflecting on waves. Alira had studied humans for months. She found them fascinating, their emotions, their courage, and especially their unpredictable kindness. As Ethan entered the room, she turned to face him. Her voice was soft, melodic, and yet filled with a curiosity she could not hide. Human Ethan Ward. She greeted, her accent strange but beautiful. Your people wish for friendship. But do you understand what friendship means to us? Ethan smiled lightly. I'm learning, he said. Maybe you can teach me. Her eyes glowed a deeper blue, an emotional sign among her species. To trust someone, she said slowly, we must share what we hide. Ethan tilted his head. You mean secrets? More than that, Alira replied. We must show what we truly are beneath the surface. She stepped closer, the light around her body pulsing softly. Among Varelians, to show our true form is an act of pure trust. It is something we never do before strangers. Ethan hesitated, unsure where this was going. And yet you wish to show me this? Alira looked down, her voice almost a whisper. I do, but I must ask. Will you stay if I reveal what lies beneath my surface? The question was unexpected. Ethan blinked, trying to understand the meaning behind her words. I don't understand, he said carefully. Are you saying your appearance isn't real? Alira nodded. This body you see, it is shaped to comfort your eyes, but it is not our true form. We are not made of solid flesh like you. Ethan took a slow breath. Curiosity replaced confusion. Then what are you really? Would you stay, she asked softly, if I undress this illusion, human? For a moment, silence filled the room. Ethan realized the question was not romantic, it was symbolic. Among her people, this was an act of faith, spiritual gesture of honesty. I'll stay, he said, his tone calm but resolute. Show me the truth, Alira. Her eyes widened slightly. She hadn't expected him to agree so easily. Most species feared what they couldn't understand. But this human stood firm, his voice steady and kind. Then look, she said. Her form began to change. The shimmer of her skin rippled, dissolving like mist. The glowing figure of Alira faded into a swirling body of translucent light and water. Her voice echoed within the air, melodic yet layered with emotions Ethan couldn't name. This was her true self, a being of living energy. Shaped like waves, constantly shifting and flowing. Ethan's first instinct was awe. He stepped closer, watching as her luminous form danced like liquid stars. You're beautiful, he said quietly. Alira blinked, or rather, her light pulsed rapidly, a sign of confusion. You were not afraid? Why would I be? He replied. You showed me trust. It would be wrong to answer with fear. Her form flickered. Humans surprise me. He smiled faintly. We do that a lot. For a while, they spoke freely about their worlds, their fears, and their hopes. Ethan told her about Earth's oceans and how they sang in storms. Alira told him about the great depths of Tirvara, where her people were born from starlight that touched the sea. As they shared stories, something began to grow, not love, but understanding. But the peace didn't last long. The chamber doors opened with a hiss. Illyra's assistant, a smaller Varelian named Thran, entered quickly. His glow was dimmer, a sign of alarm. Envoy, Illyra. He called, a human patrol ship has entered the restricted zone. The Defense Council demands an explanation. Ethan frowned. That's not possible. My crew was ordered to remain in orbit. Illyra turned to him sharply. You promised peace, human. If your people break the treaty, they wouldn't, Ethan interrupted. Let me speak to them. But Thran stepped forward, blocking his path. We cannot allow you to leave until this is settled. The room grew tense. Ethan could see suspicion in Thran's movements, the same fear that always appeared when trust was tested. Illyra. Ethan said quietly, if I don't return, they might think something's wrong and send more ships. She hesitated. Then we risk war, he nodded, and we both lose. Illyra's glowing form dimmed. You are honest, human. I want to believe you. But belief is a dangerous thing. Then let me prove it, Ethan said. Give me a communicator. I'll contact my ship in your presence, Thran hissed. It could be a trick. Ethan didn't argue. Instead, he slowly removed the wrist communicator from his suit and placed it on the floor. You can control the signal. I just want to speak. Illyra looked at him, the man who did not flinch when she revealed her true self. Now standing calmly before two suspicious aliens, she realized something. Trust was not a word humans spoke lightly. They lived it. After a moment, she nodded. You may speak, Ethan Ward. But know this. Your words now decide the future of two worlds. Ethan activated the communicator. Solace, this is Captain Ward. Confirm your location. A crackling voice answered, Captain, we're still in orbit, sir. But another human ship, the Resolute, entered the system without authorization. They said they were here for security backup. Ethan's jaw tightened. They weren't sent by us. Illyra's light flickered anxiously. Another human ship? Why? I don't know, Ethan said grimly. But I'll find out. Thran folded his arms. Perhaps the truth of your species will soon be revealed. Ethan met Illyra's gaze. Then let's hope it's the truth worth believing in. As the meeting ended, Illyra lingered by the window, watching the stars shimmer across Tirvara's endless sea. Her mind was conflicted. The human's calm voice still echoed in her thoughts. He had stayed when others would have fled. He had trusted when she had doubted, for the first time. She wondered if this human might be different, if perhaps beneath their fragile skin. Humans carried something stronger than even light itself, faith in connection, and that, she thought, might be more dangerous and more beautiful than any weapon in the galaxy. The blue seas of Tirvara sparkled under twin suns as diplomatic chaos brewed beneath their calm surface. Inside the glowing halls of the Varelian capital, Ethan Ward stood beside Illyra, the alien envoy who had shown him her true self, a being of light and water. Now, the peace between their two worlds trembled because of a single mistake. A human patrol ship. Resolute had entered a restricted zone near Tirvara's defense satellites. To the Varelians, it looked like betrayal. Illyra's assistant Thran watched Ethan closely. His glowing eyes were sharp and cold. You humans speak of peace, he said, yet your ships still wander into sacred space. Ethan tried to stay calm. Resolute isn't under my command. I didn't authorize their approach. Then who did? Illyra asked, her soft voice filled with worry. I don't know, Ethan admitted. But I intend to find out before this becomes something worse. Illyra's luminous skin pulsed faintly. If the Council believes your people are planning deceit, they will call for immediate defense. Once that happens, we cannot stop the reaction. Ethan's mind raced. He had to prevent war, and somehow he had to make them believe him. The Council summons an hour later. Illyra and Ethan stood before the Varelian High Council, a ring of glowing figures hovering above a shallow pool of water. Their translucent bodies shimmered like rippling glass. The council speaker, an elder named Velzer, regarded Ethan with unreadable eyes. Human, he said, your species was granted entry under peace, yet one of your ships now violates our sacred orbit. Explain. Ethan stepped forward. His voice was steady. That ship didn't come from our research mission. It may belong to a separate human faction. I request permission to contact it directly. The council members exchanged flickers of light, their silent form of debate. Finally, Valser spoke again. You may attempt communication, but if the intruder does not leave, we will destroy it. Ethan bowed his head slightly. Understood. Alira glanced at him. You're taking a risk, she whispered. Peace is always a risk, he replied quietly. The message back in the communication chamber, Ethan opened a direct channel to the Resolute. The screen flickered, revealing a human face, Commander Briggs, a man Ethan knew from his academy days. Ward, Briggs said with a grin. Didn't expect to see you babysitting fish people. Ethan frowned. You're trespassing, Briggs. What are you doing here? Relax, Captain, Briggs said smugly. Command sent us to provide backup. We heard the Varelians might be hiding advanced tech plasma cores or something. I'm just making sure Earth gets its fair share. Ethan's jaw tightened. You're about to start a war over curiosity, Briggs shrugged. A little pressure never hurts negotiations. Alira, standing beside Ethan, listened silently. Her glow dimmed as she understood the words. Humans, the ones she had begun to trust, were threatening her world for greed. Ethan turned off the mic and faced her. Don't believe what he said. That's not humanity. That's one man's arrogance. Alira's eyes shimmered uncertainly. But he carries your flag. I carry something better, Ethan said firmly. Honor. For a moment, neither spoke. The tension was heavy like storm clouds. The choice Ethan opened the channel again. Briggs, pull back now. You're in violation of treaty law in Varelian space. Wait. You sound like one of them now. What? Did they hypnotize you with glowing lights? Ethan's patience broke. Listen to me, Briggs. They're not enemies. They trusted us, me. If you fire those thrusters 1 more meter forward, you'll cause something none of us can stop. Briggs leaned closer to the screen. You've gone soft, Ward. We're taking what we came for. It's a signal cut. Ethan slammed his fist against the console. Damn it! Alira watched him, her expression unreadable. Your friend's actions could destroy thousands. What will you do now, human? Ethan turned to her. Give me a shuttle. I'll go to him. Thran stepped forward instantly. Out of the question. We cannot allow you to leave our custody. Ethan faced him. If I don't, that ship will attack. You'll respond, and both our species will bleed for one man's mistake. Alira hesitated. She could sense the truth in his voice. He wasn't defending humans, he was defending peace itself. Let him go, she said finally. Thrawn's glow flickered in disbelief. You trust him? I do, Alira said softly. He stayed when I revealed my true self. He will not betray us now. The flight minutes later, Ethan piloted a small Varelian shuttle through the clouds. The blue world below stretching endlessly. The shuttle's controls were strange, built for beings of light. But Alira sat beside him, guiding his hands. You didn't have to come, he said. I did, she answered. If you fail, I must speak to my people and stop them from attacking. They nodded. Then let's not fail. The Resolute appeared ahead, a dark, metallic shadow against the soft light of Tirvara's upper atmosphere as they approached. The ship's weapons powered up. Ethan hailed them again. Briggs, it's Ward. You're about to enter their defense field. Shut down your engines now. No answer. Alira's glow brightened. Their weapons are charging. Ethan gritted his teeth. Hold on. He steered the shuttle directly between the Resolute and the planet's defense grid. The targeting sensors locked onto them instead. What are you doing? Alira shouted. Buying time, Ethan replied. The shuttle shook as a warning beam from the Varelian surface struck nearby. Alarms blared. Resolute. Ethan yelled into the mic. If you fire, you hit us. You'll kill your own captain. Finally, Briggs appeared on screen again, his face pale. Ward, get that shuttle out of my line of fire. It's not until you leave orbit. You're bluffing. Try me, Ethan said coldly. I'll die before I let you destroy what we've built here. The moment of decision silence. On the other side of the screen, Briggs stared at him. Then, slowly, he leaned back in his chair. You've changed, Ward. You used to believe humans had to take what they needed. Ethan shook his head. We've taken enough. It's time we learned to give something back. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Briggs gave a small sigh. Fine, we're pulling out. Alira gasped softly as the Resolute's engines powered down and began to retreat. Ethan slumped back in his seat, relief flooding his face. Alira watched him quietly. You risked your life for my people, he smiled faintly. For both of ours. The return when they landed back at the Varelian capital. The council awaited them. Thran looked shocked to see the human ship leaving peacefully in the distance. Council Speaker Velser spoke first. The intruder is gone. Explain what happened. Ethan stood straight. I stopped him. He was acting alone. Velser regarded him for a long time. Then slowly, his glowing form brightened. You placed yourself between war and peace, human. That is an act we cannot ignore. Alira stepped forward. He is worthy of trust. The council exchanged flickering pulses of light again. Finally, Valser said, then the treaty shall continue. Humanity's envoy has proven honor. Ethan bowed slightly. Thank you. The meaning of trust later. As the sun set over the ocean, Alira and Ethan stood together on a high balcony. Waves shimmered with faint golden light. You risked everything today, Alira said softly. Even your own life. He smiled. It was the only way to prove what words can't. Alira turned toward him, her glowing form reflecting on his eyes. Among my people, when someone offers their life for another, we call it the bond of light. It means eternal trust. Ethan nodded slowly. That's a good name. She hesitated, her voice quieter. Will you stay human? There is still much to learn between us. He looked toward the stars. I'll stay. But not as a guest, as a friend. Elira's glow brightened like dawn breaking over water. Then our worlds may yet become one light. The waves below seemed to echo her words, whispering of a new beginning, a fragile peace born not from power, but from understanding, and for the first time, both human and Varelian stood side by side, not as strangers, but as equals under the same stars. The twin suns of Tirvara were setting, painting the ocean world in shades of gold and violet. Captain Ethan Ward stood on the balcony of the Varelian capital, watching the glowing tides below. It had been 3 days since the Resolute incident, 3 days of silence, tension, and quiet rebuilding. The fragile peace between humans and Varelians had survived. But Ethan knew it was still walking on thin ice. Trust once broken could never be easily repaired. Behind him, the door slid open with a soft hum. Alira, the Varelian envoy, entered the balcony. Her luminous form shimmered softly in the twilight, reflecting the ocean's colors. Your people have left orbit, she said quietly. The council has confirmed it. Ethan nodded. Good. That means no one else is looking for a fight. Alira stepped closer, her voice gentle. And you? You still look ready for one. He gave a small smile. Habit, I guess. Humans are always expecting trouble to come back. She tilted her head. Perhaps that is why you survive when others fall. Ethan chuckled softly. Maybe, but I'd rather survive with peace than with fear. The council's request, a soft chime echoed through the room. Alira touched a crystal embedded in the wall, and a holographic projection appeared. The High Council. Their glowing forms floated above the floor, their voices calm yet urgent. Envoy Alira. Captain Ward, said Velser, the council speaker. Our sensors have detected something unusual. A large energy anomaly near the outer rim of our system. Ethan frowned. Could it be the Resolute returning? No, Valser replied. This energy is not human nor Varelian. It is unknown. Alira's glow dimmed slightly. Unknown? From where? We do not know, the elder said. But the readings show movement, something alive. You think it's another species? Possibly, Valser answered. And if so, they have entered through the very corridor where your ship was trespassing. It might not be coincidence. Ethan's thoughts raced. If another race is coming, they might see our treaty as a threat or an opportunity. Alira looked at him. Then we must meet them together. Valser's form flickered in agreement. Yes, a joint mission. A Varelian and a human. You both will represent your kinds. Ethan nodded. We'll go. The journey beyond the sea the next morning, a sleek Varelian cruiser called the Saren Wave lifted from the ocean platform, its hull glowing faintly with bioluminescent veins. Ethan and Alira stood at the command deck, surrounded by Varelian pilots, beings of shimmering light, who moved like living water. Ethan had never seen technology like this. Every system was alive, breathing and reacting to touch. Alira guided him through. Our ships grow, not build. Each one is connected to the oceans that birthed us. Ethan smiled. Organic technology. Incredible. She turned to him, her glowing eyes bright. And yet you do not fear it. Most species would. I told you before, he said softly. Fear is easy. Trust is harder, but worth it. Her light pulsed warmly, the Varelian version of a smile, the anomaly after hours of travel. The ship entered the dark edge of the Narian system. Space here was colder, quieter. The stars looked distant and faint. Then they saw it. A vast, spinning cloud of dark matter hovered before them, a living storm of energy. Inside, it flickered pulses of light, like a heart beating inside a shadow. What is that? Ethan whispered. Alira's voice was low. It feels alive. Suddenly the sensors blared warnings. The ship trembled. A wave of gravitational force hit them like a pulse. Ethan gripped the console. Shields holding. Barely, one pilot answered. The energy field is trying to read us. It's scanning, Ethan said. Like it's looking for something? Before Alira could answer, a voice echoed through the comms, deep, distorted, ancient. Two lights. One of water, one of flame. Why do you come? The crew froze. Alira stared at Ethan. It speaks. Ethan stepped forward. We come in peace. We are explorers, human and Varelian. Who are you? There was silence. Then the voice replied again. Long ago. This system was forbidden. You awakened the memory of war. Alira looked alarmed. War? What war? The voice thundered again, shaking the deck. Your ancestors. Drown the stars? You are their children. Ethan's eyes widened. Ancestors. You mean the Varelians? The voice pulsed brighter. The Varelians. And the makers of fire? Both broke the balance. Alira turned to him. The makers of fire? That must mean humans. Ethan frowned. But humanity only just reached this part of space. Perhaps, she said quietly, but maybe our histories are older than we know. The revelation, the energy storm began to change shape. From within the darkness, a figure formed, a being of pure light and shadow. Towering and ancient, you stand in the field of memory, the being said. Your species once fought here. The makers burned worlds. The Varelians flooded them. To protect creation, we sealed this place. Alira's voice trembled. That cannot be. Our records show no war, 'cause you erased it, the being replied. Both your kinds did. To forget guilt, Ethan's heart pounded. If that's true, then peace between us isn't new. It's reborn. The being turned its gaze toward him. You understand? The cycle must end. The balance must be kept. Leave this place, or be consumed by what your ancestors began. The storm pulsed again, brighter now, consuming the ship's sensors. Alira held her head in pain. It's too strong. Ethan grabbed her arm. There has to be a way to communicate. She shook her head. It's not listening, then Ethan remembered. Alira, your true form. When you showed it to me, I felt its energy. Like harmony. Maybe that's the only way it understands. Her eyes widened. You think? If I reveal my true self again. Yes, maybe it needs to see trust. The same kind you showed me. Alira hesitated, then nodded. Her form shimmered and dissolved into pure light and water. The ship's cabin filled with radiant waves that echoed softly. Ethan stepped forward beside her. He removed his helmet and extended his hands. "We are not them," he said aloud. "We are what they couldn't be, partners, not enemies. If peace ever meant anything, let it mean something now." For a moment, everything went still. Then the storm stopped. The ancient being's form faded, leaving behind only a whisper. Then the balance is kept. "For now, guard it well, children of fire and water." The darkness dispersed, revealing calm stars. The energy field was gone. Elira's light dimmed as she reformed her physical body, exhausted. Ethan caught her before she fell. "You did it," he said softly. She smiled weakly. "We did." The return when they returned to Tirvara. The council awaited them once again. Ethan recounted everything that had happened, the ancient being. The storm, the truth of their shared past. Valser listened in silence. "Then our peace is more fragile than we thought," he said at last. "Maybe," Ethan said. "But at least now we know what we're fighting for. Not just the future, but to never repeat the past." Elira looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. "You reminded an ancient power what trust looks like. Human. You have done what even light and water could not." Thran, once distrustful, stepped forward. "Perhaps we were wrong about your kind." Ethan smiled faintly. "Maybe we were all wrong until now." To promise that night, as the oceans glowed with calm light, Lyra and Ethan stood together again under the stars. "You kept your word," she said softly. "You stayed." Ethan looked toward the endless sky. "And I'll keep staying, as long as there's something worth protecting." She turned to him, her light reflecting in his eyes. "Then I promise you, human, as long as Tirvara shines, there will always be a place for you here." He smiled. "And as long as Earth looks to the stars, we'll remember this world." The wind carried the sound of distant waves, and for a moment, the galaxy felt peaceful again. Two worlds, once enemies in forgotten wars, now stood united by one truth. Humanity's courage and an alien's trust could change the stars themselves. And though many more challenges would come, they would face them together, not as strangers, not as soldiers, but as friends bound by light, faith, and hope.